Welcome all to the course of Data Communication and Networking. We are discussing a medium access layer in which in the last session we have seen different protocols CSMA-CA, CSMA-CD and CSMA. Today we continue our discussion with our multiple access, controlled access and channelization concept. To start with our controlled access. In our controlled access, the situation consult one another to find which station has a right to send. A station cannot be sent unless it has been authorized by our other stations. We discuss three popular controlled access method, as you can see: reservation, polling and token passing. Fine. So it is a one type of a mechanism which controls the access method. First is reservation. So in our reservation method, a station needs to be make a reservation before sending a data. Time is divided into our intervals. Each interval, a reservation frame precedes the data frames sent in that interval. Means there is a reservation frame over here, there is a data. So over here the reservation frame is there, one is there, the data one section is there. Fine. If there are n station in the system, there are exactly n reservation mini slots in our reservation frame. Each mini slot belongs to a station. When our station needs to send a data frame, it makes a reservation in its own mini slots. Fine. As you can see, a highlighted area is there. One is there, one is there. Over here, slot 1 is for this data. Sorry, slot 1 is for station 1. Slot 3 for the data station 3, and slot 4 have its data section 4. The station have made a reservation that can send their data frames after the reservation frame. Our figure shows the situation within 5 station and 5 mini slots reservation in a frame. Fine. Over 5 is there, 1 2 3 4 5. In the first interval, only section 1, 3 and 4. Look at this over here. 1, 3 and 4 have made the reservation. In the second interval, the only station 1 has its reservation. Fine. So it is a reservation access method. Second is polling. So our polling works within topologies in which one device is designed as a primary station and another device is sent as a secondary station as our client server architecture. All the data exchange must be made through a primary device even when the ultimate destination is a secondary device. Our primary device controls the link. The secondary device follow its instruction. It is up to the primary device to determine which device is allowed to use the channel at the given time. Our primary device therefore is always a interior of the session. As you can see, it is a interior of our session. If our primary wants to receive the data, it asks its secondary if there anything is there to send, or this is called as a pull section. And if our primary wants to send the data, it tells that secondary to get ready to receive. That is called as a select function. Means all over control with the help of this primary function. Then if it wants to receive something, then it can select a poll, and it wants to send something, it will call as a selection. Fine. So let's discuss select and poll in detail. In our select function, it is used whenever our primary has a something sent to send. Remember that the primary controls the link. If the primary is neither sending nor receiving the data, it known as a link is available. If it is something to send, our primary device send it. When it does not know, however, whether the target device is prepared to receive, it will just send the data. So the primary must alert the secondary to the upcoming transmission and wait for the acknowledgement from the secondary's ready status. Means it gives some alert to the receiver that I am sending. When our receiver or our secondary gives an acknowledgement, it will send the data. So look at over here in the select pole. First of all, select alert will be given to the receiver or a secondary. Then acknowledgement particular is received at the primary. Then it sends the data, and our receiver gives that positive acknowledgement that it receives all the data. Fine. Before the sending the data, our primary creates and transmit a select called as an SEL frame, one field from which includes the address of the intended secondary. Or in this case, our secondary is B. So the address of B is mentioned in this SEL frame. So what will be in a poll function? In a poll function, it is used by the primary device to solicitate the transmission from the secondary device. When our primary is ready to receive the data, it must ask or poll each device it turn if it has anything to send. Means it will give a poll that if there any secondary device want to send the data to the primary, then if any secondary device is ready to send, then it gives a acknowledgement. When the primary is ready to receive the data, it asks the poll. Fine. When a first secondary is approached, it responds either with a negative acknowledgement frame if it is nothing to send, or with a data frame if it is. If the response is negative, then the primary polls the next secondary in the same manner until it finds the one would send the data. When the response is positive, a primary reads the frame and returns an acknowledgement verifying its receipt. So let's take this example. In the first case, it just give a poll to the first secondary A, and it gives a negative acknowledgement, means there is nothing sent to the secondary A, so it does not want any frame to send. Our primary put a poll to the next secondary just like a B, then it will have something data it will send, then our primary gives the acknowledgement to receive the data. So it is a polling function, select and poll function. Next is a token passing. A third method for our controlled access is token passing. In the token passing method, a station in the network are organized in a logical ring, just like this. In other words, for each station there is an preceder and successor. The preceder is in the section which is logically before the station in the ring, and the successor in the station which is after the station in the ring. Fine. Suppose let's take one as an example, version as a reference. So it will 4 is a preceder and 2 is a successor. The current station is the one that is accessing the channel is now. The right to the access has been passed from the preceder to the current station. The right will be passed to the successor when the current station has no more data to send. means there is some right given to the particular station, that it have some right to access the channel, then it will give to the its successor. But how this right to the access the channel passed from the one station to the another station? In this method, a special packet called as an token circulates to the ring, so it can said as a token passing. The position of the token gives the station the right to access the channel and send its data. When a station has some data to send, it waits until it receives the token from the preceders. It then holds the token and sends the data. When our station has no more the data to send, it releases the token and passing to the next logical station in the ring. Our station cannot send the data until it receives the token again in the next round. In this process, when our station receives the token and has no data to send, it just passes the data to the next station. Fine. So in the token management, it is needed for this access method. Station must be limited in the time they have possession of the token. The token must be monitored to ensure it has not been lost or destroyed. For example, if a station that is holding the token fails, the token will disappear from the network. Another function of the token management is to assign the priorities to the station and to the types of the data being transmitted. And finally, our token management is needed to make a lower priority station release the token to the higher priority stations. As you can see in this figure, there are 4 types of our token passing in a logical ring: physical ring, our dual ring, bus ring, and star ring. So let's discuss a logical ring. In a token passing network, the station do not have to be physically connected in a ring. The ring can be logical one. Our figure shows the 4 different physical topologies that can be created using the logical ring. Fine. So all are the logical rings. It is a simply physical, it is a dual. The 2 paths are there, black and pink. A bus ring is there, a particular backbone network is there, and a star in which a hub is there. In the physical ring topology, when our station sends the token to its successor, the token cannot be seen by the other stations, or the successor is the next one in the line. This means that the token does not have to have the address of the next successor. The problem with this topology is that if our one of the links or the medium between the 2 adjacent stations it fails, the whole system fails. In the dual ring, in our dual ring topology, it uses a second or an auxiliary ring which operates in a reverse direction as compared with our main ring. The second ring is for the emergency only, just like a spare tire in our car. If one of the links in the main ring fails, the system automatically combines the 2 rings to form a temporary ring. After the failed link is restored, our auxiliary ring becomes an ideal again. Note that for this topology to work, each station needs to have 2 transmitter ports and the 2 receiving ports. High-speed token ring networks called as an FDDI, called as an fiber distributed data interface, and CDDI, copper distributed data interface, uses this technology. In the bus ring topology, also called as an token bus, the stations are connected to the single cable called as an bus, as you have already seen in our topology. They however, make a logical ring because each station knows the address of its successor and also the precedent of the token management process. When our station has finished sending the data, it releases the token and inserts the address of its successor in the token. Only the station with an address matching to the destination address of the token gets the token to access and set the media. The token bus LAN standardized by IEEE uses this topology. In our last, a star ring topology, a physical topology in a star, there is an hub, however, that acts as an connector. The wiring inside the hub makes the ring. Fine. The stations are connected in the ring through the two wired connections. You look at over here. Suppose let's take an example of 3. There is a 2 wires are there. This topology makes the network less prone to failure because of its. If a line goes down, it will be bypassed by the hub, and the rest of the station can operate. So it is a more reliable network topology. Also, adding and removing the station from the ring is easier because one central hub is there. This topology is still in use by the Toggle ring LAN designed by our IBM. So it is a logical ring with the help of the token passing. And next point is a generalization. Our generalization is a multiple access method in which the available bandwidth of a link is shared in a time, frequency, or through the code between the different stations. In this section, we discuss 3 channelization protocols, just like an FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA. These 3 things you have already seen in your electronics and communication subject, that frequency division multiple access, time division multiple access, and code division multiple access. Over here we just define each protocol only briefly. We are not going to in the detail of its functioning. So first is our FDMA, means frequency division multiple access. In the frequency division multiple access, the available bandwidth is divided into the frequency bands. You can see over here frequency bands. There are in this case there are 4 bands are there, so each band have a different color. Each station is allocated a band to send its data. Suppose 1 have a blue line, 4 have a pink line, 3 has a green line, and 2 has a yellow line, which is a allocated band to each station. In other words, each band is reserved for a specific station and it belongs to the station for the all time. Means a particular band colored in the blue which is all time dedicated to the station number 1. Same for the others. Each station also uses a band pass filter to combine the transmitter frequencies. To prevent the station interferences, an allocated band are separated by one another by a small guard bands. You have already seen in another course that what are the guard bands. A guard bands required to separate the bands from the others. Our figure shows the idea of our FDMA very clearly. So we can say that in our FDMA, available bandwidth of a common channel is divided into the bands that are separated by our guard bands. Our FDMA specifies a predetermined frequency band of an entire period of a communication. This means that a stream data, a continuous flow of data that may not be packetized can easily be used with an FDMA. We need to emphasize that although an FDMA and FDM concept seem similar, There is a difference between them. First, an FDM, frequency division multiplexing, is a physical layer technique that combines the loads from the low bandwidth channel and transmit them by using a high bandwidth channel. The channels that are combined are low pass. A multiplexer modulates the signal, combines them, and creates the band pass signal. A bandwidth of each channel is shifted by the multiplexer. On the other hand, FDMA is an access method of a data link layer. So there is a difference. FDM is work at a physical layer and FDMA will work as a data link layer. And data link layer in each station tells its physical layer to make a bandpass signal from the data to be passed to it. A signal must be created in an allocated band. There is no physical multiplexer at a physical layer. The signal created at each station are automatically bandpass filtered. They are mixed when they are sent to the common channel, just like this. Fine. So it is our FDMA. Next is TDMA, means time division multiple access. In the TDMA, our station shared the bandwidth of a channel in a time. In the previous case, there is a particular band to given to the old time. Over here, a time slot allocated to the each station is highlighted in a different color. Each station is allocated a time slot during which it can send a data. Each station transmit its data in a assigned time slot only. Fine. Our figure shows the idea behind our TDMA. The main problem with an TDMA lies in achieving a synchronization between different stations. Each station needs to know the beginning of its slots and the location of its slot. This may be difficult because of the propagation delay introduced in the system if our stations are separated over the large area. To compensate for this delay, we can insert a guard times. Synchronization is normally accomplished by then having some synchronization bit, normally referred to as a preamble bits, at the beginning of each slot. So we can say that in the TDMA, the bandwidth is just one channel that is time shared between the different station. Right? So it is a one share between different times. We also need to emphasize that although our TDM and TDM conceptually seems same, but there is a difference between them. In our TDM means time division multiplexing, it is a physical layer technique that combines the data from the slower channels and transmit them by using the faster channels. The process used by the physical multiplexer that interleaves the data units from each channel. On the other hand, our TDMA, time division multiple access, is an access method at a data link layer. The data link layer in each station tells its physical layer to use the allocated time slots. There is no physical multiplexer at a physical layer. Next is CDMA. CDMA means code division multiple access. In our code division multiple access was convinced several decades ago. Recent advances in the electronic technology have finally made its implementation possible. CDMA differs from an FDMA because only one channel occupies the entire bandwidth of the link. It differs from some TDMA because all stations can send the data simultaneously. There is no time sharing. So we can say that in the CDMA, one channel carries all the transmission simultaneously. So in our code division multiplexers, each station have its code to access the channel and the transmission can be done simultaneously. So there is no clash between any station because each station have its different code. So we complete our session. Let's revise our today's session in a 1 minute. That firstly we have seen our three different control access method: reservation, polling, and token passing. In the reservation, there is a particular reservation in our mini time slot is given to the each station who sent the data. In our polling, there is a select and poll concept. Fine. In a select concept, our primary will send the data to the secondary, and in the poll process, our primary receives the data from its secondary station. In our token passing, a logical link is there. There are four different topologies we have used. A physical link, mostly a vulnerable or a failure will be occur at mostly. In a dual ring, there is another second ring available at here, bus topology, and a most reliable hub, or we can say that a star ring token passing concept are there. A particular token is given to then each station who wants to send or transmit the data, then it will pass to the another station. Three channelization concept we have seen, and frequency division multiple access, a time division multiple access, and code division multiple access are there. In the frequency division, entire band given to the station for a old time, another station have a different band, so at the transmission we combine with the help of the particular guard bands. In our TDMA, a particular slot is given to the each station, then it will combine with the help of the guard times. Fine. And in the last, a CDMA, a code given to the each station that is differently for each and every one, that can transmit the data simultaneously at the any time. So it is a question for you. Write down in your notebook and send back it to me as per the given direction. Thank you, student. See you in the next session.